Welcome to the Wanderer's History Podcast and to a new episode where I look at what exactly happened with Ridley Scott's Napoleon movie. A movie I was excited about until I got to see the first trailers. I did post a while back a video explaining what Stanley Kubrick's Napoleon movie would have looked like. So if you want to check that clip, please go ahead. I still hope that gets made at some point. But back to this movie. First of all, this is the cinematic cut, which according to IMDb stands at 2 hours and 38 minutes. Which is important because Ridley Scott has said that he will release a full director's cut soon, which is rumored to be about 4 hours long. I want to say beforehand, I am not a Napoleon expert. It's not really my era of interest even. Having said that, I did read Andrew Roberts' Napoleon, the Great biography, and David Chandler's The Campaigns of Napoleon to get a bit of a hold on the historical factuality and basics, which, spoilers, are a bit of a problem in this movie. I'll want to start with the positives. First of all, the movie looks great, despite the color grading. It could have been more colorful, more vibrant. There were those pictures showing Joaquin Phoenix on set and his costumes look luminous and great. The locations are great. They're diverse. The costumes look really, really good. I'm not sure how accurate they are, but they look to be quality and like handcrafted. The original soundtrack is arguably one of the best features of this movie, mainly because it serves as a guide for context, where you are, what is happening, and what is happening to our protagonist. I believe it was Martin Phillips who composed this soundtrack for this movie, and I genuinely believe that this may well receive an Oscar nomination or even a win. I think the soundtrack is probably one of the best parts of this movie. It does feel, for about the duration of half of this movie, it does feel grandiose. Fighting sequences seem to have a bit more realism attached to it. There's a lot of gore. The movie does not shy away from showing the horrors of combat and war. The Russian campaign, I think, is the best out of all of them shown in this movie, but that doesn't say a lot. Borodino, Moscow, the retreat, I think, bit rushed as it may be, was a poignant part of the movie. Thing is, this alone could be its own movie, and it stands in contrast with some not so great depictions of other campaigns, and I'll come more on that in a bit. Vanessa Kirby does an exceptional job in portraying Josephine. Problem is, in a movie about arguably one of the greatest military figures in European history, with exactly heavy emphasis on the military aspects, there are very out of place and strange transitions. Truth of the matter is, Josephine herself would deserve a 2.5 hour long movie herself to flesh out the origins, her motivations, the complex relationship with Napoleon, the divorce, and so on and so forth. And this brings us to the drawbacks with this movie. As I'm sure you might have seen by now, Ridley Scott seems to have a few issues with historians and Napoleonicists criticizing the historical accuracy of this movie. Scott even doubled down saying that the French don't even like the French or something to that effect. Truth of the matter is, warning spoilers ahead, Napoleon was not at the execution of Marie Antoinette. Napoleon did not torch the royal fleet at Toulon. Napoleon did not return from Egypt because of Josephine and did not bombard the pyramids in Egypt. Maybe there are other ways of showing that Napoleon took Egypt quickly. It was me paraphrasing Ridley Scott, saying that he was constrained by time, editing, and so on and so forth. Again, Napoleon did not lead cavalry charges. He did not abdicate immediately after the Russian campaign. And also, apart from one sentence, there is nothing that we see of the Italian campaign, which is a pivotal moment in late 18th century history and in Napoleon's journey. The Egyptian campaign is rushed, and again, there's a feeling that this movie tries to cover so much in the space of not even 3 hours. Historians agreed that almost no soldiers, maximum of half a dozen, would have died by falling through the ice at Austerlitz, and the son of Austerlitz is conspicuously absent as well. We barely see anything of other fascinating characters in this movie, such as Napoleon's marshals. Then we have Talleyrand, who's here and there, but I keep saying this, he himself would deserve a movie on its own, a fascinating character. Also, I would like to add that it feels weird having British actors playing French soldiers at Waterloo who also face British actors playing British soldiers there. It's the whole tension seems to fall a bit flat, and Joaquin Phoenix's accent and mannerisms sometimes channel his inner Arthur Fleck from the Joker, which makes me think that maybe the writing wasn't the best for him, but also I'm not sure if him with this heavily neutral American accent, was it the best casting for this role? I'm not sure. The end of the movie and the demise of Napoleon also falls a bit flat with his exile on St. Helena, which offers little introspection. I think this was a wasted opportunity to try and salvage this movie. And as I've said before, one could make a movie about Napoleon without Napoleon by having it about the Retour de Cendre, the return of his remains after he died to France. And then you can have like the reactions, you can have a retrospective, you could have how the people would have mourned him or not mourned him, the political reactions and so on and so forth. There's so much that can be done with this character if the writing and the circumstances allow it. In any case, I'll end by saying that I will give the full director's cut a chance. There's a feeling like there's quite a lot missing from this movie. Pieces of the movie missing. Maybe there are scenes with the Italian campaign in it, more on Egypt, more on Talleyrand, Joaquin Murat, which proves that in order to do justice to a character like Napoleon, you either have to do a grand trilogy, 3 movies of 3 hours minimum, or you have to get a high budget miniseries with 6 90-minute episodes where you go chronologically through Napoleon Bonaparte's life. My conclusion at the moment, there's a lot of great potential wasted. The visuals are great, the soundtrack is exceptional. However, the character development is lacking and chaotic. There's way too many historical inaccuracies, not enough shown of pivotal moments, and all in all, a bit of a historical drama which at the end, for me at least, just falls flat. In any case, what did you think about this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did it meet your expectations? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to the podcast in order to never miss any new videos. And until the next time, all the best.